AICNN, where toy news matters.
Hello everybody, and welcome back to a special edition of AIC News, where we give you the toy industry news you need to know headed into a fresh week. This is the last week of March. Today is the last day of March, almost. No, just kidding. There's one more tomorrow. But it is the end of our March Madness tournament. And I know you guys are here to find out which Marvel Legends March Madness contestant took home the gold, and I promise you, you will not have to wait long to find out. But first, as is usually the case, a little bit of housekeeping here from Adventures in Collecting. As there are only just a couple days left in the month, as I just mentioned, it is also means that there's still time for you to enter to win our giveaway. So our March 2026 giveaway, of course, we are partnering with our friend at Preternia.com to give away this amazing McFarlane Toys Elite Edition Image Comics Founders Edition collection Spawn. One of my favorite figures of the year so far. I have waxed poetic about it. It is almost April, and this is still mighty high on a list that I may or may not be keeping for the halfway point of the year. Yeah, but you have 2 days left to enter to win it. You can do that by going to @AIC_podcast on Instagram, looking for the pinned post, and following the instructions that you need to follow in order to enter to win this. Sold out pretty much everywhere. Pretty hard to come by. Aftermarket looks a little wonky on it already, so if this is something that you wanted to add to your collection, this is your chance to do just that. So again, that is @AIC_podcast on Instagram. And also just a note about April's giveaway. Announcing a new giveaway and announcing a winner of a giveaway on April 1st is probably ill-advised, considering it's April Fool's Day. So we actually are extending this by 1 day, which means that we will announce the winner on April 2nd, as well as the next giveaway, which is something you are not going to want to miss. We have another great collaboration set up with a really, really fun giveaway right in time for WrestleMania season. So I'll put it that way. Something really, really cool, and I think you guys are going to love it. So definitely keep an eye on Instagram. Quick rundown of some news. It was WonderCon this weekend, and Toylanta, and all other kinds of toy, C2E2, PAX East. It was like convention weekend. And while a lot of toy companies showed off things that we have seen before, just maybe for the first time in person, the Nacelle company, of course, our friends Brian Volk-Weiss and Brian Adams over at Nacelle had to show off something super cool in their Star Trek universe, and that is my personal favorite Star Trek character, Leonard Bones McCoy, Dr. McCoy here with his bio bed and a ton of accessories. So this will be coming to the ever-expanding Star Trek toy line that Nacelle is putting out there. It looks amazing. All the accessories, all the head sculpt, all the hands. Really excited to get my hands on Wave 1. Hopefully that is soon, and then as soon as I get my hands on it, I'll make sure that we post up some content so that way you guys can see the final product in hand. Something else that was revealed this week, maybe unintentionally, Target posted a link. Let me take a step back. I was looking for the links for the Target Haulathon, and one of the things that you can do before they go live is if you filter Target links by not in stock, it shows you things that are just about to come in stock. So, pro tip. And I saw this, which is really cool. To me, this is the most iconic version of the standard good guy doll Chucky before he gets all stitched up and everything. This is, of course, Child's Play 2. It is an ultimate. It looks fantastic. The accessories are great. I love that they give you not only the expression but the accessories to recreate the iconic box art from the VHS, the poster, it looks incredible, and I am really excited to add this kind of quintessential pre-stitched Chucky to the collection. So no word on when this is going to be available, but it is real. It is official. Chucky is real, guys. So yeah, really, really great update to an existing character that we've we've come to love. The other really big piece of news coming out of WonderCon has been all of the news around our friends at Cryptoids. So massive success for Cryptoids and their War for the Green Planet toy line. So the Kickstarter has been a huge success, and they keep adding things and unlocking things, which is great. So the campaign is now 100% funded, and they just unlocked, prior to the recording of this episode, they did unlock their next goal. We'll get to Batboy there in a second, but their next unlock is officially here, which is your Reptoid. So the first version of the Reptoid has been unlocked. They did cross the $250,000 mark, so that means that they have unlocked the glow-in-the-dark alien, the Squonk and the Jackalope, and the green Reptoid drone. So the next one is at 300, which is the blue Reptoid drone. Then the albino at 350, and more to come, supposedly. But the big news coming out of WonderCon weekend and Toylanta weekend was the addition of the Weekly World News officially licensed Batboy. So if you are a fan of the tabloids and the unknown and the sideshow world, this is a character that should be all too familiar. It comes in both a black and white and a colorized version. Super cool addition to their lore and cryptozoology world that they're creating here. So I'm really excited for the folks at Cryptoids. Of course, the people behind that is the team behind the Yes Have Some podcast, Toy Anxiety. They are amazing people, and I am so happy for them and the entire team there that this has gotten off the ground as quickly and as successfully as it has, because it is a really cool toy line. It is something different, and it is something that I know I'm personally excited for. You know, Mothman being one of my favorite characters in all of fiction. The truth is out there. Maybe he's not fictional, but yeah, I'm super excited for this line, and I can't wait to learn more about it. And of course, they did show off some of their prototypes at Toylanta. So yeah, the other thing that I wanted to just cover off on real quick before we head into the Marvel Legends March Madness news is some Marvel Legends Hasbro news. So there will be a G.I. Joe Classified live stream on YouTube on April 1st at 11 a.m. Eastern Time. So really excited to see what our friends Lenny and Tony and BMAC have in store for us for some G.I. Joe news. They did reveal a couple of renders last week of a few new characters, but I'm excited to see what they have in store. Yeah, should be really interesting. And also a friend of the pod from the Hasbro team on Marvel Legends, Dan Yoon, said to make sure that the ovens are hot, as he likes to say, make sure you save some bread for April, because there will be some new pre-orders. So keep that in mind for the next month as we head into it. I am hoping, seeing as how a certain wall-crawling superhero in the MCU broke all sorts of records with his trailer for his new movie, that maybe it's something from that. That would be great. But to the reason why you are probably here and maybe not always here, but you should always be here. This is great. We have fun here. Um, let's the big reveal. Who is the winner in the final matchup? And of course, to set the stage here before the big reveal, we had two heavy hitters throughout the tournament. They knocked down pretty much every opponent that they came up to by a large margin, if not the largest margin in the round each time. So if we split it to north and south, Armor was absolutely destroying the competition throughout the northern hemisphere of the tournament, and Annihilus was annihilating the competition on the southern hemisphere. They were the two front runners from pretty much day one, and they stayed that way all the way through the end. And it just so happened that the randomizer did not pit them up against each other early in the tournament. That kept them apart, which is fantastic, because here we are with two of the most requested characters, at least in our orbit, for Marvel Legends. And it is my pleasure to reveal to you this year's Marvel Legends March Madness winner. It is Annihilus. So with 53% of the vote, this was close the whole time. I was actually worried we were going to have to rerun it or figure out a way to do a tiebreaker. There were sizable moments in time when this was 50-50, and then it was like 51-49, and there were parts where Armor was ahead. There were parts where Annihilus was ahead. It was back and forth. It was as neck and neck as you would hope a final would be in a fan polling situation like this. It proved that both of these characters were, worth their weight. They really kind of carried the entire tournament, and even into the last matchup, it was almost a 50-50 split. But Annihilus edged out Armor at the very end. Now, where does this leave us? So we did get a lot of comments. No, this tournament is not officially affiliated with Hasbro, Marvel, or Marvel Legends in any way, shape, or form. We do not pretend that it is. We do not pretend that it will make miracles. This is purely an exercise in polling the fandom to provide Hasbro with any information if they so desire to use it for anything. It gives them an idea of a rank of characters, how they perform against each other, which ones are hot, which ones cool off. It is purely research that we are providing as a third party. Let's put it that way. So by you participating, you are sharing your voice with Hasbro, because we know that they're watching things like this. Our friends over at SWTBC, they have an amazing March Madness for the Vintage Collection every year. Luth and Rail won this year, which was my number one pick headed in. So I'm happy that he won. I feel very vindicated, even though Dash Rendar lost. But we know that these community polls matter. People give their honest opinions, and we get the opportunity to really share our voice, our collective voice, with the people who are driving the product that we collect. So that's the only really way to look at this. This is no guarantee. There's nothing attached to this. But it does now allow us to speculate, right? We have two characters that came all the way to the end. In previous years, whether it is because of the tournament or whether it is just pure happenstance and coincidence, we have seen a number of characters from the list make the line in Marvel Legends. Now, that being said, they're all very popular characters with their own fandoms, and again, like whether they're on our list or some other list on the internet, they tend to be on lists. They are popular characters. The fact that they are in the tournament and get made, I don't think there's a correlation necessarily there. My ego would like to believe that there is one, but I don't read too much into it. Have fun, share your opinion, And the best thing that we can do is get out there and shout it from the rooftops for you. So we're now presented with an outcome where we have a character that was a Build-A-Figure very early on in the Marvel Legends line, to the point where most people don't even really consider those to be Marvel Legends at this point, because of technology and just the way that action figures work at this point. Annihilus is very, very, very overdue for a redo, a proper Marvel Legends treatment. And then you have a character like Armor that presents a significant design challenge, right? You have a figure within a figure, effectively. Now, we have seen the G.I. Joe team do things like snake armor before. That could be a way to do it, that you can fit a Cobra Trooper in that suit. And maybe there's a way to suspend the character in there, so that way it's a clamshell sort of thing. Who knows? I don't pretend to know the answers for this, but I do know that one figure is potentially much easier to make than the other, seeing as how it's a figure within a figure. So I think this is a really cool outcome for fans. It shows kind of the dichotomy of the fandom, especially when it comes to the comic book stuff. I mean, you have like a classic that doesn't get more classic villain really than Annihilus. One of the top tier villains that, like I said, is long overdue for an update. And then a character like Armor that's on the newer side, that has some nuance, that is kind of, I don't want to say a brand new character, but in comparison to Annihilus, yeah, she's pretty new. So this tournament was filled with lots of surprises. Characters that I did not think would make it very far in the tournament made it like all the way into the semifinals. I mean, you had characters like Doc Samson, another character that had a Marvel Legend very, very early on, making it very far. I think the recent inclusion of a lot of new Hulk figures is maybe wanting them to keep the momentum going and getting some more Hulk figures. I know I'm one of those. Also, Ghost Rider. There was, the Engine of Vengeance failed, but there's still a lot of love out there for Ghost Rider. So, Robbie Reyes, Vengeance, and 90s Johnny Blaze with the mullet and the trench coat, they made it very far into the tournament. So do not count out Ghost Rider. But yeah, so this ends our Marvel Legends March Madness. And as I said at the beginning of the March Madness tournament, this year, give me a little bit of time, but like let's just say between now and the start of the next tournaments, I've got a year to work on it. We'll get a Google Doc, Google Forms thing set up out there, so that way people can actually nominate characters for next year's list. We'll do a little bit of a soft reset on the list. Obviously, we'll keep Annihilus and Armor in. They made it into the finals, but maybe we'll let some things reshuffle, and we'll get some fresh blood in there. And then, of course, too, the rule is between now and the next tournament, if any figures from the list of characters are announced or come out, they're removed from the tournament. So by having this Google form out there, we create this overflow list where as characters come off, we have characters to add, we can just kind of refresh. So when we started this tournament, we had way fewer followers than we have today in 2026. So we want to make sure that everyone's voices are being heard and being heard accurately. So stay tuned for that. And I'm constantly thinking of ways that we could do more of these tournaments. It seems like you guys really, really like them. Of course, we do the Archies at the end of the year, and we do this in March. Maybe there's something in the second quarter that I could think of that we could do another type of tournament. I'm thinking about it. But if you have any ideas, DM us. If you have an idea for a really cool tournament that you'd love to see us conduct, I'd love to hear your ideas. I'm open to anything. But with that, on behalf of the entire AICNN news team, congratulations to Annihilus and all of his fans. And this has been your AIC News Special Report.